Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Playlist. It's Friday, so you guys know what that means. It's time for me to share with you the games I have been playing during the week. Today is a special day because it is actually Christmas Day. It's early in the morning here. My wife and son are still sleeping, but I figured I'd get this video filmed because I do have a pretty busy day today. We'll be opening presents here with my wife and son, and then later on in the afternoon we'll be going over to my parents' house to visit with them, to open presents, have dinner and stuff like that. So I got a pretty busy day with family and friends, and I hope you guys are having a good Christmas, able to spend time with your loved ones, just have that quality time to connect with the ones you love, game, and just relax. So definitely having a good day today. Gonna play some games, games with the family and stuff, and just have fun in general. So we'll get started here this week. It's been a pretty busy week for me at work. It's just been crazy, all the last minute Christmas shopping, everything. So I haven't had a huge amount of time to play games, but I do have 3 games I have been working on this week, and I'll share with you guys. The first one is one I've been working on the last couple of weeks, and that is Donkey Kong Country for the Game Boy Advance. I am getting closer to the end. I'm at the second to last world, and I am absolutely having a blast with Donkey Kong Country on the Game Boy Advance. Now, this is a remake of the classic Super Nintendo one, which I love. Donkey Kong Country on Super Nintendo. I beat that one so many times on Super Nintendo. I recently beat the Super Donkey Kong version, so the Donkey Kong Country that was on Super Famicom, which is a little harder. I beat that with my buddy Grant, and him and I were working on getting 101% on that game. Fantastic game, loved it, but I never ever got around to playing the Game Boy Advance port of it, which I do own for a long time. Only played it for a few minutes, and that's why this month I started wanting to actually play through and beat it, and I've been having a blast with it. And I did pick up, in the last couple months, I picked up the strategy guide for it, and this has come in very handy for this game. Definitely would recommend it. If you get the Game Boy Advance one, definitely pick up the strategy guide, because this has all the secrets that are in all the maps, how to get all the extra collectibles, because they have added new things to this version over the Super Nintendo version, which one of the big things I like is that the boss battles are now updated, and they make them a little bit more difficult. Like example, when you fight the B boss, which I talked about last time, instead of her just going like up and down in like a little attack pattern, she actually has little bees with her that do different attacks and stuff. So actually she mixes it up, and it makes the boss battles a little bit more challenging. So I definitely like that. Like the Neki boss is a little bit different. Naughty does some extra things that's different than he did in the Super Nintendo version, because in the Super Nintendo version, he's the very first boss. He just kind of jumps around. In this one, he does extra different kinds of little attacks against you that makes it more difficult. So that's something I really liked about it. They added some mini games to this game too. So Funky Kong is no longer just for the funky flights. He actually has a fishing mini game where he challenges you to collect a certain number of fish or collect a certain number of sharks, something like that. And if you beat his time, he'll actually give you a collectible, and so they add that to the game. There's also Candy Kong. She's no longer for saving. She actually has this little Dance Dance Revolution mini game type thing, which I'm not really good at that. I don't know why it just doesn't seem to respond well to the controls, but I'm still trying to figure out. But you do have that extra little mini game, and another big feature I love is that you can save this game at any time you want. Because if you guys have played the Super Nintendo version, you'll know that there were times where like you had to get to Candy Kong. Sometimes she was at the beginning of the world, sometimes she's in the middle, and sometimes she's really close to the end. So if you're on a really difficult world and you run out of lives, you have to start that whole world all over, and go back to where you saved, and it can be annoying at times. So I do like being able to save the game anytime you want. You simply hit the start menu and you can click save, which is a great feature, because sometimes I'm playing a game and I've got to leave, I got to go to work, or I got to do something with the wife, or I got something to do, and so I like being able to just save the game and be able to continue it later without having to just leave it turned on like we did as kids. You would just leave the console on all day because there wasn't a save feature, and you just hope that nobody messed with us. So you could come back and play and keep beating the game. So that's another feature I like. They also added 52 little camera pieces, which have cool little pictures of Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Cranky Kong, and Rambi and all the different animal buddies and also the different enemies. And they have different little camera things you can collect. So that does add to wanting to get the 101% in this game. You have to get that as well. They've added a couple other modes in this game that wasn't in the original one. A hero mode and I think it has it on here. Yeah, Donkey Kong Attack and hero modes. So definitely interesting. I want to check those out because I have never played those before. So I want to see how they are. Definitely a fun game. Now the music, I would definitely tell you guys is still great. You know, it does have that Game Boy Advance sound. So if you guys have ever played any of the Game Boy Advance ports, like the Super Mario World, you'll know they're a little bit different, but they have that Game Boy Advance feel to it. You also got to remember that these were made for that little Game Boy Advance screen. So, they had to compress stuff to make it fit, which it does look really great on there. Now, I have been playing this on my Game Boy Advance player, on my HD TV in my bedroom, on my GameCube, which I love that Game Boy player. But I did notice that it does wash out colors, as other people have mentioned before. But it really doesn't detract at all from the game, and it feels very responsive, especially with the GameCube controller. I feel like that they have fixed some of the control issues that the Super Nintendo version had at times. But definitely give Donkey Kong Country a try for Game Boy Advance. Wonderful game. Once I beat this one, I'm going to go on to Donkey Kong Country 2 and Donkey Kong Country 3 because I have never played either of those on the Game Boy Advance, where this one, I bought it, played it a few minutes, and never touched it again. And so I'm glad to finally get into playing it. And I'm definitely going to look forward to beating Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3 for Game Boy Advance, just so I can see what the subtle changes are to that, because I love all the changes in this one over the Super Nintendo version, which is a great companion piece. So if you love the Super Nintendo one, definitely give the Game Boy Advance version a try. So next up, PlayStation 2, the game that I talked about this way earlier in the year, I think that's probably towards the beginning of the year. Fantastic game, and that is Soldier of Fortune, and this is the Gold Edition, which had new multiplayer maps, which this game is awesome. First-person shooter, brutal, violent. They even have a warning on here. It says, warning, violent subject matter. Low violence option included. Like, who the hell wants to play with the low violence option? No, give me the ultra violence option, this game is awesome. So you play as John Willing, and so you're a special operative. I'll give you guys a little thing. So use any means necessary to find and secure 4 stolen nuclear warheads, track and stop the terrorist organization responsible for the theft before they can carry out their threat to national security. Dispatch as many terrorists, skinheads, and enemy soldiers as necessary to complete your mission. Failure means more than just going home in a bag. It could mean global thermonuclear holocaust. And worst of all, you won't get paid. Failure is not an option. So that's pretty cool. You got 10 covert missions that take you through political hot spots of 5 different continents during 26 levels of play. So that's really cool. I'm about halfway through this game. Your arsenal includes a variety of ultra-realistic real-world weapons to help you succeed in your missions. Your enemies are numerous and determined, and a good mercenary knows that wits and intelligence are just as important as guns and ammo. You use all of that to stay on the trail of the hijacked nuke. So it's really cool. A lot of variety of weapons you can get from you, and it just love the over-the-top violence in this. Like, some funny parts where, like, dude jump in the air, and you're like, I shot a guy in the dig, and he's like, oh, screaming. He's grabbing his crotch and everything. And you can shoot dudes' heads off, and they just, like, heads pop off, and blood squirts everywhere. You can shoot people's arms off and stuff. It's just, like, really violent, and it's a really good game. Now, my buddy Dean over at Escape to Gaming actually recommended this game for PlayStation 2, and I had originally played this on the PCs, but never played the PS2 version. So I picked this up. It was really cheap. It's like a $1 to like $5 game at my local game stores. Definitely worth picking up and trying out. Huge variety of weapons. Sometimes the missions can be a little difficult, but they're pretty much, go from point A to point B. Like, one of my favorite ones was being on a train and running through there with different weapons, and you can shoot guys and they fly off the train and stuff. It was really cool, really brutal. It has a fun story, and like I said, it's really cheap. And if you like good first-person shooters, definitely check it out. This has that cool engine, which is really cool, and like really revolutionary at the time. It's just like how brutal and violent it could be for the PlayStation 2, because at this time, the games were getting better, the 3D was getting better, the animation, everything was getting better, voice acting, that kind of thing. And this game is just great. Definitely check out Soldier of Fortune Gold Edition for PlayStation 2. It's a great port of the PC game, and it's worth owning if you have a PS2, and it's very cheap. Definitely check it out. Pick up a copy. You will not be disappointed. And the final game, which I've slowed down a little bit on playing this, only because I've been, focusing on the Donkey Kong, the Soldier of Fortune. I haven't had as much time to put in this as I have the previous weeks, but that's Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and this is that Ultimate Edition Steelbook that I got from GameStop, which comes with the Season Pass, and it comes with the Berserker content, which gives you the Beowulf DLC, and it also gives you um, the Way of the Berserker, which actually helps you unlock a character in it, which is really cool. I like that. I don't want to ruin it, so if anyone hasn't played, you guys know I don't like ruining story for anybody. But this game is awesome. So it starts out, you're this Viking Ivor. You start out as a kid, and this idiot guy, I can't remember his freaking name now because it's been so many freaking hours ago, but he betrayed you and your clan and everything, and so you end up wanting to get revenge when you get older, which you end up doing, and then you leave the Norway and actually go to England. And that's when the game really opens. So you have the beginning of the prologue is fairly long. I got about 14, 15 hours there. I did all I could, all the collectibles in the world, and did all the extra missions and stuff there, except for a higher level area that was in that area was just you have to come back later on, which is nice. You can actually travel back there. But the game really just opens up immensely once you get to England, and that's when you can do all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of missions in the game. You can go through the story, because I do know that there's different endings to this game, so that's really cool. I always like that in Assassin's Creed games when you have different endings. It's open world where you can do whatever the hell you want at whatever time you want. Has amazing music. The what the hell is that? I can't think of his name now. It always happens to me, like when I'm making these videos, I can't think of the guy's name, but the musician, but him and his band make all that classic Viking music for the Vikings TV show. Well, he also does the music for this game, which is just amazing. Just gets you in the mood to want to being a Viking, and it's awesome. Now you get to play as either a male Ivor or a female Ivor, and you can switch that anytime in the Animus. You can just switch. You want to be female, you can change in the female one. If you want to play as a male one, you can switch that. I always like playing as the male Ivor just because that's who I think of like a great Viking warrior. So I like playing that. I also love that you can actually adjust his visual appearance. You can change his hair, his beard. You can change tattoos on his body, and you can craft him to look like how you want him to, which is awesome. There's also a lot of different armor sets in the game you can unlock. There's legendary weapons. You can also have different fighting styles. I like to fight with a shield and an axe, but you can dual wield axes. You can get spears. You can get pikes. You can get swords. And you can dual wield swords and stuff. There's two-handed swords. So, it's a play style for everybody in the game. And of course, you can't forget about, this is Assassin's Creed game, so they do have the assassins in this game, which they're not called the assassins yet. The Origins goes over the story of how they were formed, and then this continues that when they're called the ancient ones, and then you fight this other group, which eventually become the Templars. So, the Assassin's Creed overall has that story of the assassins versus the Templars, and this, continues that story. Of course, this does have that futuristic aspect to it that, between certain things in the game, you'll actually go into the future where you play as another character who goes into an animus machine that relives the past through their DNA, like ancestors and stuff, which, I was never a big fan of that in these Assassin's Creed games. That's like the overall story, like in the future of the assassins still fighting the Templars, and they're going into the past to help them fight them in the future, which I always wish these were just clearly just only set in the past. But, that's just one little aspect to the overall narrative of the Assassin's Creed games. And this has been going on since the first Assassin's Creed game. There's been a ton since this one came out. And this is part of that little trilogy of Assassin's Creed games that have gotten to where they're big open world games. Started with Origins, then went to Odyssey, and now Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I'm having a blast with this. Got over 40 hours in this game now, and I'm absolutely loving it. I barely scratched the surface of this game, and I'm going to be continuing to play this for quite some time, as I just, just absolutely loving it, love being a warrior and stuff, and going on raids, because, as a Viking, they like going out and hunting for treasure and stuff. You actually have a settlement that you establish there, and you can keep upgrading it. In order to upgrade it, you got to raid churches, you got to raid villages and stuff to find resources around the world, so you can use those resources to build up your army and build up your settlement to make you stronger, craft better weapons and stuff, so you can take on the harder challenges in the world. Has a great overall story in Vikings. I know some people didn't really like the game, but I loved it, had fun with it. Wonderful game. I do have to warn you guys though that if you have any of the DLC or anything, packs and stuff like that, that you do need to be careful with the Ubisoft Connect, because it wasn't unlocked unless you're connected to the Ubisoft Connect. And I found out that, hey, my thing's not connecting, and I'm wondering why. It's because my software was outdated, so I had to actually re-update it, and then I had to go into the software and sign in again with my password. And once I did that, I was able to connect in the game, and it unlocked all my content. So there is that little glitch you have, which is unfortunately, with new games, you have so much stuff tied to being online, and this game is like that. If you want to get that extra DLC stuff and extra content, it's tied to making sure it can connect to that server, at least just to get it downloaded for you. So there is that little issue with it. But I'm having a blast with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I definitely think you guys should check out, especially if you're a fan of the Assassin's Creed games. As always, we'll do our quick little recap. I talked about Donkey Kong Country for the Game Boy Advance. This is a wonderful port of the Super Nintendo version, remake on the Game Boy Advance. Came out about 10 years after the Super Nintendo version, and they have added some great stuff to this, like the boss fights have been retweaked, where they've added stuff to it to make them a little bit more challenging. There's been new collectibles, new mini games, and overall just a really fun game. The music is done well, and it's worth checking out. If you're a fan of the Super Nintendo version, play the Game Boy Advance one. It's a great companion to that one. We talked about Soldier of Fortune, the gold edition, a violent first-person shooter game that is just awesome. My buddy Dean at Escape to Gaming recommended it, and I'm so glad he did. And it's a very cheap game, only like $1 to $2, $3, $5 here locally. Like online, you'll be able to find it fairly cheap. It's worth checking out, especially if you played this on PC. You'll like it on PS2. Great game. Love the ultra violence in it. The voice acting is good in it, and the controls really well. Definitely check it out. And of course, we talked about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is a wonderful game in the Assassin's Creed series. I'm having an absolute blast with it, and definitely think you guys should check it out. So let me know your guys' thoughts on these games. I would like to hear what games you guys have been playing, because you guys, the games you guys are playing, always give me good suggestions. I hear your guys' games you're talking about, you describe them, everything, and you're just like, man, I want to check those out. So keep those coming. It gives me good ideas of stuff to check out. I have a nice list going on my website of games to buy or games to play if I already have them. And if you have a suggestion on a title you think I should check out, please let me know. I'm always looking for suggestions for new games to try and experience, because that's why we collect this stuff, to play games and have fun with them. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. Have a great day, and sleepy. We'll see you guys next time.